707. Let's see. I'm going to do a quick check here. Oh, come on. Are we listening? Yes, you can hear me. Okay, great. Okay, so 15 days left till 2022. It's so exciting because our brisk market is just going to continue to be brisk, and all agents are going to be making money, making people happy, make their dreams come true. The 2022 real estate market is just going to rock. I just know it. I feel it, and the momentum continues to be there. I run a Facebook ad every day, and I cannot believe the number of leads I get off that Facebook ad. Seriously, it's just unbelievable. And we've been running this ad continuously. And when we first started running it, I think we got less serious people for some reason. But I don't know what Facebook has done, but they're putting us in front of serious people. So we're going to have a class. I was going to have one in December, but there's too much going on. And Kane and I spend days making sure that our class is updated with, because these platforms are changing all the time. And we want to make sure that we're giving you the most relevant current information possible. So we will do one in January. And we have it in two parts. The first day is Google business page, which you all need to get your Google business page. If you've got some time, between now and the end of the year, please get a Google business page. And if you come to and you need to get the page, because when you come to class, you need to have the page. You can't get the page in the class because Google sends you a verification code, and then you start class and you can't keep up because you don't have the page for doing the things that we say that you need to do. And then we get into LinkedIn. So that's the first day. It's 3 or 4 hours. And then then we separate. Then the following week, we give you a week to practice what we teach in class. And of course, you have to bring your computer because this is hands-on learning. And way back in the day, when I was the first authorized training center for Microsoft, we had 30 computers in the room. And at that time, they were huge. This was in the 80s. So, they were desktops and they were huge. But it was always hands-on. That's the way you train people how to use something that's online. And anyway, so what I'm saying is in the next week, we go into Facebook. Heavy-duty Facebook. There's your personal page. There's creating lists. Facebook can be very private if you do it right. And then we get into Facebook ads and then how to retrieve those ads, what to do with them, those leads that you get from the ads. Anyway, we're going to do that in January. Today, we're talking about the MLS and our market, the Las Vegas market. And the market is hanging in there. Last year we had 36 days of inventory, give or take. This year we have 25 days of inventory, give or take. And I'm saying give or take because we've changed. Last year we were doing areas. This year we're doing zip codes. So I'm kind of thinking that the inventory is probably about the same because last year it included some of those areas that we don't include in our zip codes right now. So what I did, and I told you before, I took the Las Vegas Valley and Henderson, and I took all the zip codes in those in North Las Vegas, and that's what we're looking at because that's where you're selling. Just to let you know. We have 570 homes that are $400,000 and under, and that has that's kind of gone down now. And I think it's the holidays. People would rather, enjoy their holidays without having to worry about people coming to see their homes. There's still 3,174 homes to see, townhomes, high rises, condos. So there's still plenty of inventory out there to show your folks. And as you know, the NAR survey says 52% of the people want a realtor to find them the not just a home, but the right home. And that's where the human interaction comes in. And back in the day, we used to always preview homes before we showed them to people, but now we have beautiful pictures, hopefully, and we can say, they do want this grass in the backyard and things like that you don't always. Back then, you had to go look at the house to see if the backyard was good for pets or children, things like that. But now we have these beautiful pictures and Matterports and all those types of things to make sure that, we're showing people what they want. And yeah, investors are still buying 45 homes a day, 139 people still moving here. So the point there is that people move here and a lot of them want to rent. So the investors are non-owner occupieds, NOOs, and they rent. So that's a good thing. And 30% of our homeowners own their homes free and clear. And what we're finding, that number is probably, in my opinion, going to go up because people are getting out of the stock market and they are putting their money into real estate because it's the best hedge against inflation. And I know you've heard me say that, Brian Buffini say that, Dr. Young saying that, the chief economist for NAR. So it's just a nice, lovely market. The $1 million homes really haven't gone below 4.39 a day. And I think they've been up to 4.6, splitting hairs a little bit there. But so good morning, Debbie from Advantage. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your patronage and your loyalty. I really, really do. So the $1 million homes aren't there. And Dr. Young said they're going to continue to be a strong part of our market, as the investors are. And the first-time home buyers are probably going to wane a little bit because the interest rates are going to go up toward the summertime. And the price point is way different than it was last year. Christmas time, you could buy a home for $347,000. And now you have to pay $421,000 for that same home. Yes, and that makes a big difference in the mortgage. So let's move on. Let's see if I think I put something. I didn't bring it in. Nope. Okay. I put something in the group, and it was this SMART goal sheet. Let me go get it real quick for you. This is something that Buffini just did for us. And let me put it up here. There we go. So SMART, specific. You need to be specific with your goals for 2022. What do I want to accomplish? And then measurable. And how will you know if you get there? And if you took our class, Be the CEO of Your Life, or if you watched about a month ago, I did a series on goal setting and planning, and I showed you how you reverse engineer if you want to make $350,000 a year, how you back into how many transactions you have to do in order to achieve that. So measurable, you have to know what your goals are, and it starts with making phone calls on a daily basis, communicating with people, going to lunch with them, pop buying, those things, writing personal notes, all those things. They are measurable. So at the end of the week, if you can say, okay, I wrote 20 personal notes. I wrote a personal note to everybody I called. Those are measurable. That's how you measure. You count. And then achievable. How can it be achieved? Do I have the necessary resources and skills? Again, if you want to start farming, you have to have enough money. And I think, I did a show on a fellow sending out postcards. He figured labor, stamps, printing, the whole 9 yards was $1.41 a card. And the return on that was enormous because he was consistent. Consistency builds trust, everybody. And if you're not doing things consistently, if you stop and start, it's not going to work. And then what is the purpose or benefit of accomplishing this goal? And again, I don't like the word goal anymore. I like the word plan, but your 2022 plan. So what's the purpose or benefit? In other words, what are you looking to achieve in life? Are you going to be able to buy a new home? Are you going to be able to take a vacation, get a new car? What are you really working for? And what really makes you happy in life? And it isn't money, in my opinion, but that's for you to decide. And then by what day will I achieve it? Well, that's the other thing. You could do this goal sheet really every day, every week. I think Jimmy Dague says Monday is his CEO day. So Monday he reviews what his plans have been and if he accomplished them. So you need to maybe just do it on a weekly basis, I think. Because then I'll tell you why. And you probably already know this, but if I did everything I set out to do, made my phone calls, did my personal notes, did my texting, right? Copy and paste, text next. Copy, paste, text next. Copy, paste, text next. That's really simple to do to stay in touch with people. But anyway, if I know that I did those things and I didn't accomplish what I thought I was going to, well, was it their holiday? It was their playoff games? What was it that outside forces might have interfered with my plan and what I wanted to achieve from accomplishing that? So it's good if you do it on a weekly basis. And then I'm going to do it the next week. And maybe I'll do it for 3 weeks before I decide that I might want to change the time of day I'm doing things. Maybe my messaging isn't good. But I like the rule of 3. So I like to try the 3 weeks before I do this. So anyway, my goal, one of my big goals, is that I want to do YouTube and my Google business page. My plan for January and February is to hone in on YouTube and how to make it pop for you. Like it pops for Tom Ferry and the people that are getting into YouTube and the value of it and videos. So I'm just going to get started because this is going to be I think it's 20, 25 minutes. So we won't be done probably till 10:15. So just if you can block out that time now, do it now. Otherwise, come back and see. This is awesome information. And this is Tom Ferry's brother, Patrick, is really into YouTube, and he's got some great tips. Then tomorrow, just going to say, we're going to do Mari Smith and Facebook. Then Monday, next week, we're going to jump back into YouTube. So just so you know what's coming. Here we go.
Hey, so welcome back.
Out 100,000 postcards a month.
Right.
You're not going to get as good of a return month 1 as you are month 12, right? Mm-hmm. And this is the same thing.
Bingo.
Because it's the frequency, it's people seeing you over and over and over and over is what's going to create the call. Mm-hmm. And it's going to start nurturing people in the research phase and then bring them to a point where they're comfortable getting in contact with you.
Yes. I almost feel like a knucklehead because I didn't say to people, by the way, if you're listening only, you need to go to my YouTube channel because this is very video first. Okay. So Patrick, who should we look out for? Maybe back up and tell us your hypothesis first, like we did with David.
Okay.
And then we can look at Randy White. We can look at
Cameron and
Fleming
Shayna.
team.
Yep. We'll go there.
So give us the hypothesis first.
So the hypothesis to me it started with the SEO. It started with, okay, I know that there's a search volume, right, for a city name.
How do you know that? How do you know that there's
because
search volume?
I got into what is SEO and I got into the whole game and trying to understand it's way too technical.
But where do you go to find that information?
Well, no, let me finish this thought. Okay, so big brother and head coach, by the way, guys. So I'm just going to cut him off right now because we got to get to the good stuff. Okay. And so skip the SEO stuff because it's just there's too much minutia and I don't want anyone to get lost. Get lost there. But I did realize, okay, if I type in my city, Solana Beach, because I did what you were doing. I first was like, okay, because if our farm is Solana Beach, how am I going to digitally be there? And why is it that Zillow and Redfin and Trulia and these guys deserve to be there? How do I get my website to be there? Because I'm the local expert. So then I really got into how does that work? So that's kind of was the game. Mm-hmm. But you don't need to know the details other than knowing the fact, as what you were just saying, that people are searching for the city name. Mm-hmm. Now, that was the main hypothesis. So I was like, okay, how do we get there? Mm-hmm. Then YouTube videos was the easy point because almost no one is there on YouTube for the SEO key terms, which are moving to, living in, buying in. Those are the three terms.
Give it to us again.
Moving to, living in, buying in. So when I was doing some research early on, I was like, what do the relocation buyers to San Diego, what do they search?
Right.
Because we're all in the game of the homes for sale in San Diego, homes for sale in Solana Beach.
Yeah.
And I was like, but my perfect customer on the buy side is the relocation buyer. They're going to spend $1 million in San Diego moving from somewhere else. And I was like, move. And then I went moving to San Diego. And then one of my little search things said 1,500 people a month search moving to San Diego. And I'm like, 1,500 people
are typing in that key search term. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. And if we're talking TubeBuddy, you can discover, are there any videos that actually answer that question? And the answer is probably no.
Exactly. So that was kind of the entry point for me to get motivated by this thing. So then I did a ton of research and I really dug in deep on this thing. So let me just share some results because I know agents want to know the money first, and then you guys will pay attention to everything I say after that. So Randy White, which we're gonna break down right here next. Randy White, year to date, 100,000 in commissions closed with 4 clients in the pipeline. We're gonna look at that, but I'm not done yet. Cameron and Shayna Fleming in Columbus, South Carolina. These two, 76,000 closed year to date, 109,000 under contract now.
Dude, I love this guy. Yes. Okay, I've seen his stuff.
Cameron and
kills.
Shayna.
He kills.
I can't wait to talk about them. Now, my buddy Ryan Schramm in San Clemente. We don't have him up, but we'll talk. But Schramm has 109,000 closed right now year to date, organic YouTube leads, right? 4 million, he's written offers, 4 million right now with buyers. And then Danny Gould, which we'll talk about in a minute, I don't have him up, but Danny is at 124,000 closed organic year to date. And he's got 24 million in the pipeline, meaning buyers and sellers he's met with.
Research phase, baby.
These leads. Okay, so agents, I have your attention. Yes, okay, let's talk. So here's the deal. So those 3 phrases: living in, moving to, buying in. And here's what I've discovered. As a real estate agent, if we feature the city, the neighborhood, or the community, and we feature that and talk about that in the video. So the pros and cons of living in city, name, neighborhood. For some weird reason, Google and YouTube, they give that phrase huge amounts of search volume. It's weird. So like I got Randy.
No, it's perfect because Google wants to control like the speck of dust sitting on your street. They want to be that hyper local on everything. So of course, pros and cons of living in city.
Yes, cost of living. Okay, then there's any variation, living in this neighborhood versus that neighborhood. Right? That's a huge
contrast,
one. Yes. And what I found was, to me, as kind of like a consumer research behaviorist guy, like I just love studying this stuff. What I realize is, you know what? This is the information that the buyers actually want to know anyways.
Right.
They want to know what are the top 5 neighborhoods
to
live in blank
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
They want to know what the pros and cons are. They want to know what's it like living in city, name, neighborhood, community. This is what they want to know. And so for some reason, Google and YouTube are just literally organically dishing it up. So when I look at the analytics of some of these guys' stuff, it's amazing. I'm seeing anywhere between like 50 to 100,000 impressions. So we will talk about thumbnail and title and clickability. 50 to 100,000 impressions on you, a real estate agent, talking about the city that you sell homes in. That is amazing. It like doesn't get any better than that. And when I show people that, it's like spectacular. So another, just a very simple example is, Randy Orr, Coach Randy Orr, shout out Randy. After he saw Ryan Schramm, because we're all in the same mastermind group together, Randy's like, all right, I think I'm going to try this out. So he did 6 videos.
I got to pull
pull up Randy Orr Real Estate. Randy did 6 videos in 5 months. And then like 2 weeks ago on the mastermind group call, he's like, all right, guys, There it is. Yeah.
that actually sounds like Randy.
All right, guys. I closed my first transaction. So click on videos.
Yeah.
And then go over here to sort by. Well, actually, right here, this is perfect right here. So scroll down.
Yep.
So here's a
6 things you need to know before moving to Laguna Niguel.
And so
Laguna Niguel, pros and cons.
Okay, so to
cost of living, he did all these.
So to David's point here, David was like, "Hey, in my market, there's not enough search volume." Right. Now, Laguna Niguel.
I don't know if there's that much search volume.
No.
Laguna Beach, maybe. Newport Beach, maybe.
Wait, excuse me. So 5 months ago, how many views did he get on the moving to Laguna Niguel in 5 months?
2.6.
So
2,600.
2,600 views 5 months ago, all organic, of Randy talking about the city that he lives in as a real estate agent.
Right.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Now, one more thing that's so incredible about YouTube organic is once someone sees that video, then YouTube does what, Tom? The next time you come back on YouTube, what happens?
You get served up another one.
They're going to show more of your videos. It is incredible. So really on the organic side, this is the game.
Look, it's no one looked at my listing, but 626 people in the last 4 months have looked at pros and cons of living in Laguna Niguel. Now, can you on one
But
page?
look at that. Look at the cost of living was 1,300 views on the cost of living. That's unbelievable.
Okay, what's up with the Jiffy?
He's giving a comparison.
Well,
Hi, Randy Orr with Berkshire Hathaway. I'm a local realtor here in Laguna Niguel. Are you thinking of moving to Laguna Niguel and considering the cost of living in Orange County, specifically Laguna Niguel? Stay tuned. I'll tell you.
All right, so pause that right there. Okay. So let's talk one thing where everybody's getting hung up too, which because I've been talking about this for a while, and David, I'm so glad we watched yours. I'm glad we watched Randy's. Is guys, it doesn't need to be that overly produced.
Right.
Really, like just share your knowledge and wisdom. And I love what you're saying about the competence thing is so critical. So let's go over to Randy White because I want to just kind of look at the case study of this for a second. So find Randy White's channel. Shout out to Randy in Austin, Texas.
Hold on, I got to just pull it up again.
RandyWhite, Austin Realtor. Okay, so as a brand new agent, so go to her channel, and then we're going to click on videos.
We go to most search.
And then scroll. No, don't do that. Just kind of scroll up. Just scroll up a little bit. I just want to show you guys. So when did she start doing videos? If you scroll all the way up, because when you click videos, you can see when she started.
So she's done 20 something. No, not even 20. Well, yeah, 24 videos.
So what she did is she did 20 videos in her first 6 months, right? And she was a new agent in Austin, not from Texas, by the way.
Even better.
Yeah, pretty normal. But what she did, which I like a lot, is she featured all the different neighborhoods and the different sections of
Pemberton
Austin.
Heights. And this is great.
So this
is actually answering one of my questions. Like, can you go beyond your market if you wanted to and have all the same questions answered for each one of the markets on the same page?
Yes, and I love what David said too. Is she's demonstrating competence and knowledge of her marketplace. Now, probably as a newer, and I didn't ask her, but as a newer agent, this allowed her to also go learn about those different neighborhoods and learn about the nuances, and then just present it in a video and put it up there. So now you could see. Now go up to the.
I like this, like where to live in East Austin, 2,400 views. Right. Living in South Austin. Right, 2,300 views. Living in West Austin, 3,400 views. That's really interesting. So people are like, help me understand. I'm moving to Austin, but I don't know where to live in Austin. Which one should I live in?
Exactly. So in her first year after doing the 6 months of those 20 videos, I think she closed 8 transactions, all organic YouTube leads. Right. That was amazing. So year to date, I mean, she'll do 150,000 this year. Year to date, easy. And you can see she stopped doing videos for a while. So you can see 1 year and then 5 months.
Yeah, right.
And so now I got her.
Suddenly 4 days ago. Here we go. Again.
Now I got her doing a bunch more cool stuff. And
Lake Travis. Good for her.
She's having fun with it, which is great. Let's go over to Cameron and Shayna. And I just want to give a shout out to Shayna because Cameron is the lead agent, right? He's the guy.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to get him to do video. He wouldn't do it. And Shayna, who came on to his team as his beautiful wife, she was like, all right, I'll do some videos. And so she started doing them. And then the leads started coming in. And then Cameron was like, I better start doing some videos too. That was great.
Or, hey, sweetheart, keep doing the videos. Keep up the good work.
Exactly. So scroll all the way down.
Okay.
Right. So if you scroll all the way down, you can see kind of when they started really doing the videos. And it kind of 1 year ago, you can see moving to Columbia, South Carolina. That was kind of the first one. And then she did a bunch of buying in. We did a bunch of new construction, started featuring a bunch of communities. We did some expert advice. What is earnest money? We just started kind of sprinkling in a bunch of cool stuff. And they are right now, I mean, they'll close $200,000 in commissions year to date. Now, what's the average sales price in Columbia, South Carolina? It's like $300,000.
Yeah.
So that is some
That's a lot of transactions. It's a
now,
lot of,
to David's point, I think is actually really interesting, is we do have to kind of pay attention to that. If you live in a community where there's a lot of search volume, well, what does that mean? That means there's a lot of people moving to. So if you're in a moving to market in the United States or in Canada or anywhere
anywhere in the world,
please do the moving to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, but Randy Orr with the Laguna Niguel, he killed it with that. And that was what was so fascinating to me. So these case studies are now starting to really shine for me. It's like, wow, there's a lot of money on the line. So let's get after it. Living in, moving to, buying in. Okay. What questions do we have? Because I have a few things that we can discuss on this topic, but it's pretty straightforward at this point what we need to do, guys.
So I want to go to one of these. So point out for me one so we can just listen to. Again, we saw a little bit of Randy's. I want to see another example.
Go down to Shayna's early video on the moving to Columbia, South Carolina. 4 minutes. Right, and let's.
Hey guys, it's Shayna Fleming with the Fleming team of United Real Estate.
Sitting like in her living
Today
room.
we're talking about 5 cities that are great places to live in surrounding Columbia, South Carolina. And this video starts right now.
She reached across to
Are you thinking of buying a home in the Columbia area, but you don't necessarily want to live in the city? Well, we're talking about cities in the surrounding area of Columbia, South Carolina. All right, first up is Northeast Columbia. This is going to be on the northeast side of Columbia, South Carolina, home to Fort Jackson Military Base, which is about 15 to 20 minutes of drive away. Also home to Richland 2 schools, really great schools in Richland 2. The average home price is about $172,000.
Yeah, exactly.
This area.
Okay, so
here's what.
And let's address a big questions that every agent's asking me.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the question they got: how long should these videos be? Okay, this is a huge question, and we have to be careful that YouTube is not social media. YouTube is not Facebook or Instagram.
It's not about 3 seconds.
No. So what's interesting?
Content's good. People will listen for 4 hours.
Yes. So what's interesting is that, and this is the point, YouTube will actually prioritize organically a 1 hour video over a 5-minute video. Now that's super interesting. So I want to just say, be careful with too short. Yeah. What we really want to focus on is satisfaction. Okay, so what does that mean? So if you do a video on the pros and cons of living in your city, community, your farm, and you under-satisfy the customer, that is going to negatively affect the organic exposure that property gives you.
Say that again.
If you don't satisfy the customer with the promise of that video, YouTube...
Like clickbait.
Yes.
Right?
Or
you actually deliver on the headline.
Yes. You've got to deliver. So I want to say something about that for a second too, because it's kind of, they're like, well, Patrick, what should I cover? Please come and tell me the secret sauce. Like, what's the script? I'm like, I can't. Here's what I need you to do. Ryan Schramm's been doing this. He's like, Patrick, he was telling the group, he's like, I'm having so much fun doing a driving tour of San Clemente with these clients that I'm getting from YouTube who are coming to check out San Clemente. And what he's doing in that driving tour, agents, you do this all the time, is what do you explain to the customers in the car? You're like, hey, this is the cool part of town. Hey, here's where the traffic gets stuck. Hey, here's the, you know, the great school district line. You need to be over here. Hey, in this community, it's that. It's all these kind of things.
It's what Christoph Chu did like
10
years ago, and now has all the videos on every ounce of every subdivision inside of Beverly Hills.
Exactly.
I think a good way to think of these videos as community Wikipedia pages.
Yes.
Right? Or community Wikipedia videos, right? Like you need a script, you need an outline, go to your community's Wikipedia page and record that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
That's what this
Okay,
is.
now, but here's what I want to say. I 100% agree with that. But what I'm pushing my clients on is I want them to actually own the awesome stuff that they do say already.
Yes.
Like own that. Like you say great stuff. You're not recognizing that the feedback that the customer is giving you when you say, hey, let me tell you about this thing, and you explain something and they're like, wow, that was really helpful. Thank you. That's the thing.
That's the content.
That's the thing I want this to be. So like I'll brainstorm with the client. I'm like, all right, David, tell me, you know, what do you love about your city? You know, what do you like about that? Well, what do you not like? And they're like, well, should I share the cons? Should I share the cons? Well, you and I talked about that on our podcast. The deal breaker stuff, the cons. When you actually say the thing that it's not and you tell the truth, trust goes up.
Right.
So the pros and cons is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
So anyways, this content of like, what do you know that no one else knows?
So I'm gonna go a little deeper with you and say the thing that I'm on this kick right now. So guys, give me some feedback on this. I did my summer reboot tour, and I'm like, okay, it's 2021. I have been talking about YouTube since 2007.
Right.
How many of you have seen me speak before? All these hands go up. Who's seen my content on YouTube? Okay, you've all seen me. So this is not new information that I'm saying you should be doing videos. And they're like, no. And I'm like, and yet how many of you still have not done videos? And like 90% of the hands will go up like, you know, it's all the same excuses. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to set it up. And what if I look bad?
Right.
So here's what I tell them. So since you don't know what to say, there is TubeBuddy will tell you things that people are searching for where there is no content. I'm like, but that doesn't solve your problem. That just gives you a little glimmer of hope of like, this is something you could probably talk about. But then I say, what if you took that keyword or that phrase or that question and you put it into Jarvis under video script, and then Jarvis writes the freaking script for you.
Yeah.
And then I say, can you read? And then people go, yes. And I'm like, okay, so the script is now written for you. And then I say, but I still get it. You're still like, but do I look good? I don't want to come across stupid. And I go, let me just be very clear with you. If you have a 9-year-old granddaughter, if you have a 11-year-old grandson, and if you don't have those, if you have a dog or a cat, your dog or your cat could film these videos for you. And then I go, do you guys know how CNN started? Do you guys know the story of how CNN was started? Prior to the launch of CNN, Ted Turner's very first news network, he hated the news so much that he wanted to mock it. This is the guy that started CNN, right? So what he did is he took a dog, put peanut butter in the mouth, and a guy sat in the corner and read the news. And the dog just went,
That's funny.
right? I now have clients doing sitting with their granddaughter and saying, hey baby, how's the market? And well, grandma, in the last 14 days, we've had 4 homes going, and the views are just skyrocketing because they're making this 9-year-old the star. Or if they're like, I don't know, I've now, this one of my clients sent me a dog. It's 2 dogs talking about the market. And they use the little, it's My Talking Pet app, right? And like the mouths are moving, the eyes are moving. And I'm like, this is adorable. It's adorable. So I'm trying to remove every possible excuse. But what are you guys' thoughts around TubeBuddy and then Jarvis just to get people in action?
Man. And I'd like to hear because I mean, I know what I'm trying to get my clients to do to get past this uncomfortable stage, but it's very difficult. I mean, the bottom line is, guys, we get how difficult it is, but I just want you to know that you know what to say because you're telling the buyers. When you're at an open house and they say, tell me about this neighborhood, all that stuff that you say, that's the stuff we need on the video. And that's the stuff that's going to cause the perfect customer to be attracted to you. And it's like, I don't know how else to help them get past that. So I'd like to hear from you. Like, are you getting people past that?
From a coach perspective, I just turn it into a conversation that we all want to start at mastery, but we can't. You have to start as a novice. And what's it look like to start as a novice and paint that picture? And the last coaching call I do every month, the 4th week of the month, it's tell me specifically why I should be a buyer or why I should be a seller in your market. Tell me specifically.
Yeah.
And don't tell me interest rates are low. They've been low for 10 years.
Right.
Tell me specifically why I should be a buyer or seller. And then they tell me. I'm like, man, it's a great video.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I do that all the time.
Let's
I'd be like,
record
that thing that you just said to me? That would be so awesome in a video. I do that all the time.
But sometimes there's that reluctancy too. And I use you as an example in my coaching all the time, Tom. I'm like, do you think that at one point Tom had a better strategy to nurture and generate clients than YouTube? Right? He probably had a better one, but we all over-index on one thing that works.
Right.
So think about someone you respect, or, I like using Tom, right? Like, this is nurturing.
It's all
this is getting people attracted to coaching, to get inspired to get a coach. It probably was more what you used to do meetings. Right? You used to go to offices.
I do sales meetings. I would do audio recordings and email them to people in 2005.
Yeah. So
crazy.
If there's one thing to over-index on, we all know that it's video.
Right.
It's video marketing.
Right.
But we're all trying, if you're not doing it, you're over-indexing on something else that might actually be a dying trend.
Right. Right. So one of the things that I want to say to everybody that's listening right now, so we talk a lot about your Google My Business page, and under the product section or even the photo section where you can post these 30-second videos, the argument I'm making for my clients now, the ones that are really doing videos, so I'm talking to you right now. So we've talked about with how many people as coaches, hey, you should do 30 questions in 30 days, right? What are the questions you get the most from your clients? Answer those questions, but you got to answer them in 30 seconds or less, which means the answer's got to be tight. You can't go, well, let me tell you about this story and this one situation. And you can't even say your name, right? It's just got to be like, it's fast. Just, Patrick Ferry, Banana Real Estate. It's all just there. And the question is typed across the top so they can read it. They want to click on the thumbnail and then they get your answer. And I already have clients that are like, I've already shot all those. I did that on Instagram back in January and we started talking about it. I'm like, put those on your Google My Business page under the product section and you're going to kill, right? So
one quick hack on this. So I've been talking about to my clients, build an office studio. So I saw an office studio, which I saw yours, right? And so right now I'm just working at my desk, right? Like my keyboard's here and I've got my little camera on top of my computer.
Right.
I've got the lights already set up on my desk. I've got my little microphone over here when I'm ready. And I've put a little background, right? So I've got a little background that's kind of cool. So I'm getting all my coaching clients to just set it up to where you can you get a good idea, you can write it down, you just hit record. And so, when you're on he's on a Zoom, I'm just opening up Zoom. There's no one there, just hit record and it just saves it right on your thing and you're just sitting there talking, blah, blah, blah. Shut it down, download it, upload it, you're off and running. It's amazing. One other thing too is thumbnails are important. So on the organic game, I just want to remind you guys. So now you could still get results, but the thumbnail is critical. So I was doing some analysis with the mastermind group and a bunch of coaching clients this week, and we were looking at their YouTube studio, and we were looking at the number of impressions that YouTube was giving the agent, and then they show you the impressions to the click-through rate to the views. And one of my clients had 100,000 impressions on one of his videos, and we had a click-through rate of 4%. And I'm like, and he's already made money off that one video.
Sure.
I'm like, dude, clearly the thumbnail is not working.
Right.
But the video is doing really well. So I'm like, imagine if you just made a better thumbnail that was more attractive, that told a better story, that got people excited to click on it versus anything else. We could have went from 4,000 views to 7,000 views, and you could have gotten 2 or 3 clients already. So it is super important to do a little bit of research on thumbnail, what works, what doesn't, and how that little game plays. I mean, if you just go on YouTube and you just
for some people that are like, what's a thumbnail? They're like, thumbnail? No. This is what? Right here. That's a thumbnail. That's a thumbnail. That's a thumbnail. It's the first thing they see when they're on your Facebook page, on your, your YouTube channel, it's that initial impression. Does Austin housing crash resonate for me? Well, 767 people were like, what do you mean the Austin real estate market's crashing? By the way, headlines do more to terrify than to clarify. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah. So anyways, let's just make sure you guys are working on that. So if your video is underperforming, we do need to look at some of the basics of what's going on there.
Yeah.
Now, everybody else asks like, what's the call to action, Tom? Or what's the call to action?
How do I convert?
I'm like, look, it honestly, what happens is once they watch one of your videos, then YouTube or retargets them with your other videos. And what I'm noticing right now is that my clients are like, they message me, they call me, they text message me, and they've watched 3 or 4 of your videos already. It's like, you don't have to do anything. There doesn't need to be a spectacular call to action.
They know you, they like you, they trust you. You've proven that you understand the marketplace. Help me out.
That's the power of this. You telling everybody do video that is the power. It's that trust. It's like they already got a sense of who you are from watching your videos. It's like the easiest client you've ever worked with. All my clients are freaking out. These are the best clients ever, right? And I'm sure you're experiencing that because they've already watched like 2, 3, 4 of your videos.
They just basically, you sit down. It's the epitome of a come list me.
Yes.
Just tell me what to do. I've heard that more in the last year than ever before.
Yeah. Because you're the authority.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about time-saving videos. So
yeah.
Great story. So, and you probably experienced this, but Chris Brower over in Layton, Utah. So he's been doing some videos, and he did a how to prepare your house to sell, and he's been doing the housing market update. He gets a call from a past client. Hey, Chris, we're thinking about selling our house. That was good. He shows up and he says, hey guys, first thing we need to do is let's just go around the house. Let's talk a little bit about what to do to prepare the home. They go, don't worry, Chris. We watched your video. Yeah. We took notes. We just have a few questions for you. That was great. So then he sits down at the table and says, guys, let's talk about the market for a second. And they said, don't worry, Chris. We watched your videos. We already know what's up with the market. Just tell us what to do and we'll do it.
Yeah. How should we price it? What do we need to do to get the most?
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
It's the power of video.
Yeah.
Demonstrating competence. I'm stealing that because
Steal it.
Yeah. But let's go back to, we were talking about it earlier. Do you remember Kurt Wanabo, right? So Kurt's still alive. Big shout out to Kurt. Kurt, longtime client, San Diego, California. He was known as Short Sale Kurt. We were running television ads with Kurt upside down and the house upside down in 2007. Home prices upside down, right? It was campy and hysterical, but the phone rang off the hook and traffic was bonkers on his website. But the challenge was time-saving videos. He's like, we're on a coaching session one day, and he's like, Coach, I get the same questions. Oh, I'm like, that's an opportunity. Like, what questions do you get? Well, they always kind of say, no. What questions do they ask? It was 7 questions. We answered on video all 7 of those questions. And when people would call in and say, I'd like to schedule time to talk to Kurt. Great, I'm going to send you a link. Watch the 7 videos so you're prepared. And by the time they got to them, they're like, okay, where do we start? What do we need to do?
I just thought about a little hack that maybe I'll share. Our Selling Your Home with Hillshire Realty Group. In NAR's Home Buyer and Seller Survey, it gives the top things that sellers are looking for, and it just covers all of those things. in order.
That's perfect.
In order.
What we do for our clients is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's literally what.
Do you acknowledge the NAR report?
No.
Even better.
Yeah.
Right. You don't need to.
There's tons of B-roll. It's like us talking with each other. I guess the first thing we say, because I can't list everything, is we hire competent. I talk about the agents on my team.
Yes.
And then we go through all the things that we do, which is just that report.
Yeah.
The scripts are everywhere if you look for them.
That's the thing. Like, content is never, it's what to say is never the issue. It's how do you get over the psychology of being on video?
Yeah.
Do I look good? Am I going to say the wrong thing? Like, am I going to screw things up? The answer is yes, you are. And you look amazing. Don't scare your clients, by the way. If they don't know what you look like and you show up, that could be weird.
I think, for me too, was like, once I started doing my YouTube videos, and this was just for my coaching clients. I was like, I just want to do some YouTube videos for my coaching clients. I want to see what this thing's all about. I kind of got to get in there and figure this thing out. But I noticed for me, after I did a bunch, I just started getting more comfortable.
Of course.
We all know that it's like, look, your first 10 are not going to be good, and it's perfectly okay. Yeah. But it's really like when you get to your 20th video, your 30th, your 40th video, it actually starts getting really good. So guys, you just got to just get over it. Just
novice to mastery.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go back to find, because I have, I don't know, maybe 2,800 videos, something like that. If you go back to some of my early videos where I'm like standing in what became my mother-in-law's bedroom, right? Because it was the only place where I could take a lamp.
Yeah.
Ian, my producer, will appreciate Ray. I took a lamp. I took the top of the lamp shade
off. Yeah, I've done that.
And I kind of angled it on the bed it looked at me like it was horrible. Yeah. But some of those videos have like 15,000, 20, but that's how it started, right? Now I'm inside the studio, right? We got all these producers, we got all this all this energy, but the reality is you just got to start. You said it earlier, like think about, you want to get to mastery, but you got to start at novice.
And it's, I would say for, to me, I quote you a lot on the sweat equity first.
Yes.
Then we'll follow that up with the check equity. Because I'm like, okay, can we make some money with the sweat equity and then reinvest for your videographer, reinvest some of that money and then make it significantly better? But like, start with just the basics.
Dude, look at these.
Yeah, totally.
I'm like wearing a hat,
Hey, this
wearing like a
6 views, 4 views.
Yeah, I don't even know if these, the new pivot ad. Okay, so those, I don't even know if those were ever even published, but they're still up there. I can still see them.
They're still public.
Yeah.
Oh, are they? That's hysterical.
Because we're just looking.
Oh, look at this. Look at a year. Okay, I'm only a year ago. Like I have a lot of videos. Courtney crushes. She is so bonkers. So good with social. How's the market? On and on. I guess you probably go to playlists and all that kind of stuff. How many videos do I actually have? I'm going to look really fast here. Looking at my own page.
Well, if you go to home and then we'll look at your YouTube or your TubeBuddy analytics, it'll tell us how many videos.
Okay, good.
Kind of get lost in the minutia versus.
Oh, look, this news on my video. There, Patrick Ferry.
1,420 videos.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. I thought it was way more than that.
What do you mean more than that?
I'm lame-o. All right, I'm going to step in.
I thought I heard myself talking earlier.
Whoops, I'm back. Sorry, forgot to turn off the unmute button. Anyway, so I took copious notes. You can watch that so many times, and I learned something new every time. And if you're not learning, you're not growing, and your real estate career is not going to perhaps achieve what you want it to. You have got to do video. You've got to learn new things. I've been doing a YouTube channel since, oh my gosh, before 2010. I mean, I don't even know when our first video was there. And then I moved over to a new channel. So my old channel, I think it was Remax channel. Now it's ruthierocks. And I struggle with some things, but I'm not afraid to try new things and to make it better. It does take time. That's a problem for me sometimes. But anyway, I am going to do that. Let me just put this up because, where did it go? Solo off. Okay, here we go. Let me hide these guys. Here we go. We're having a law class on December 10th. December 20th. That's Monday from 10 to 1. It's Jimmy's new class. And it's really, really informative. He has done a fantastic job at this. You all have to know how to be compliant and where the gray lines are. It's very important because you don't want to get in trouble with the division and the commission. Anyway, it is a great class. It's our last class of 2022. And if you come to our live classroom, you can get a free lunch, and the lunches are pretty good. Anyway, I hope you come. Sign up at bee.vegas, BEE, like Bumblebee, BEE.vegas. Sign up. You can Zoom, and you will enjoy Jimmy. I'm like his sidekick, sitting there monitoring the chats and things like that, and throwing in my questions. And Jimmy and I don't always agree on everything. He's a broker, I'm a broker, so that adds a little bit of fun to the class as well. See you all tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow we are doing Mari Smith, and let me see. Let me hide this and hide this, and we're going to watch Mari tomorrow, and she is going to tell us all about Facebook, what marketers need to know. And that's tomorrow, and that's going to be 12:30 our time. So I will be on in the morning doing some stats and maybe talking a little bit more about something I want to share with you. But tomorrow, her show will be terrific. She's terrific. Talk to you all tomorrow. Love you all. Have a great, great, wonderful day.